Today we are taking a deep dive into the Pocketful of Sunshine subscription box. I'm going to be setting up my July spreads and I'm going to do it in two parts because it's going to be a long one. So today I am sharing my monthly setup, and if you tune in next week you'll be able to see me create my weekly spreads in a whole separate video. If you are a VIP, you would have been involved in my monthly review process, and I've gone through and looked at what's going on this month, what's worked for me in my journal and what hasn't. And a big thing that I'm really trying to do with this journal is make sure that it is working for me and that I'm actually using it, which I have been more than ever. So my review process involved looking at what's working, what isn't, and I've come up with a plan for the spreads. And with that said, let's get planning. First thing to do is to set up my cover page. I have an idea for what I'm going to do here. What I have done, as you will see in the plan, is pulled all my colours and the washi tapes that I'm going to be using ahead of time, and I'll keep it all in this little pencil case so that I've got everything I need when I'm out and about and on the go. Now, I think that the plan I have for this spread may result in me hating myself for coming up with the plan, but we're going to go with it anyway, and you'll see what I'm doing as I'm going along. So I'm going to be using the pocket stencils that came in Pocketful of Sunshine. If you're new to the channel and you haven't heard of us before, Daisy are a small business based in the UK. We specialise in journaling supplies, so our journaling stencils are our hero product. We also have stickers, washi tape and the actual journal. And a Pocketful of Sunshine was our quarterly box dispatched in June for our quarterly box subscribers, and it's all about adding a little pocket of sunshine into your life where you can. So very joyful, and it features these really cute little monsters, our little pocket monsters, and that's what's going to be the star of my cover page. So first thing I'm going to do is write out the title. So this stencil is in the Pocketful of Sunshine font. It wasn't actually included in the box because it wasn't pocket size. The pocket size version was included in the box, but it was an optional extra that you could purchase. And I'm just going to write the title of the month. So I have penciled a couple of things onto this page, and when I was laying things out, because the elements of this month are like the cute monsters and the shapes, I felt like they needed something to kind of tie them all together. So I'm going to try something a little bit different to what I've done before, and see how it works. So let's add in the title, and I'm going to put the year in as well. This font is really cute. It's kind of like bubble letters like you used to, or I definitely used to draw when I was at school. I think it would make a really good font for like a balloon font as well. And with all of our font stencils, you'll find that the holes for the letters are at the bottom row. So you can make it look exactly as it was meant to look. So that's my title. I'm now going to add in my monsters. So there's like a kidney bean shaped monster. I'm going to pop him in first. Now I think in terms of adding colour to these, it might be easier to stencil it on, like ink it on. So what I'm going to do is make a little relief template of the eye using some washi tape so that I can make sure that that doesn't get, let's see if we can do this, make it a bit nearer to me. That. So that when I ink, I can kind of ink straight on and then remove that, and hopefully I'll be left with a nice neat eye. I need my cutting blade, although I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut this with a blade or whether I'm going to need scissors because it is quite curved. Let's have a go. it's working. Okay, so that's my eye. So now I've got my eye shape cut out, I'm going to use my tweezers just to place it into the correct place on the monster. And then I'm going to adhere the monster stencil back to the page again, just so that it's not going to move around while I'm adding ink through it. I have also masked off any kind of holes that are near so that I don't end up making a mess on my page. And I'm using my mini distress inks in the colours that went alongside the box. We did sell those colours as an additional bundle to coordinate with the box. And I'm also using our mini ink brushes just because they are a bit smaller, so you've got a smaller space to work with, so it's easier to be neat and tidy with it. So just adding that ink off, because this is quite a bold colour of ink, I do always dab it onto some scrap paper first, just so that I don't end up with big old splotches. And then with the tweezers, just removing the eye, and then you've got the eye, yay! So cute little face, and then I'm going to do the other monster at the bottom, and I decided with this one to do the colour first and then add the outline, just to see if that's an easier way of doing it. I am always learning with the whole inking process. I'm definitely not an expert, but I'm enjoying experimenting with it in my journal. So I'm using a green colour, this is called Cracked Pistachio, and a nice clean brush, and I'm adding that ink on. And just after I go over the head, you may notice that I've made my rookie error. I didn't use the eye mask, the mask to make sure the eye didn't end up green. So what I'm going to have to do is use a white jelly roll pen over that, just so that it looks white to stand out, but that's fine, I can do that afterwards. So I'm going to grab my pen and do my outlines. I'm just drawing on with that pen the eye shape and the mouth shape before I go over and do the same with the little green monster. I'm just going to use the jelly roll pen. This is a jelly roll 10 or 10. That is, I think, the thickest jelly roll colour, so it lays down the white nicely. Just to colour in the teeth and the eye on the other monster, just so that they stand out white against the colour that I've put down with the ink process. And I will leave that to dry before I add the pupil in, otherwise it's just going to smudge the jelly roll pen. Jelly rolls always take a little while to dry, so bear that in mind when you are when you're doing anything with jelly roll ink. If you put your arm in it, then it will smudge everywhere. So I'm just using the other pattern pocket full of sunshine stencil just to add some little splodges behind our monster. It's kind of random organic pattern. So this is what this box is all about, this kind of random, organic inky pattern, adding lots of colour. And then I'm going to go in with my ruler and I'm going to use straight lines to create a matrix behind all of this that kind of ties the whole lot together. Hopefully it'll make sense when I go through. I have just realised that the first time I've put the ruler down, I've managed to smudge ink all over my page. So what I will do is go back and fix that by adding little splodges, more black splodges on top of it, so that it looks like it was purposeful and not just me being a bit of an oaf. So I'm adding these lines at 3 grid spaces apart, and I'm just going over where I put those black splodges because I'm going to colour those in anyway, so you won't see that I've drawn a line through them. And the idea is that it kind of looks like it's sat on top of a matrix, or like almost like a pegboard, and that's what's holding all of the elements together. I'm going to do very much like a scrapbooking vibe, adding in some washi tape and some scrapbook paper and more of those kind of splodgy shapes along with the monsters, and that's what's going to tie it all together. Well, that's my plan anyway. So for this section I have super sped up the film, just because I'm really aware that watching people draw lines on a piece of paper is not the most interesting thing. So I'm creating my grid a lot more quickly in this video than I did in real life. It was quite a tedious process. And I do need to add in some grids to the following pages, but they're much smaller grids to the rest of the setup. So you'll be pleased to know this is the bulk of the grid drawing happening now. So the grid's now done, and I'm going to add in colour to those splodges. I am just making a couple of the splodges a bit bigger to cover up where I managed to smear the ink earlier. And the good thing is with this, because it is quite an organic layout, and it does have those kind of quite organic patterns, you can add in extra bits and it's okay. So I've managed to cover up those splodges and make it look quite purposeful, like it meant to be there. Now, a fun fact you might not know about me is that I used to run a cake making and decorating business with a friend for a number of years. We actually supplied cakes to Fortnum & Masons for a little bit. And something fun about cakes is that you can always cover up mistakes with a well-placed flower or decoration. So I think I carry that over into my journal spreads. There's always a way that you can kind of add something else that looks like it was supposed to be there, and it covers up the mistake you've made. When we used to have the real problems is if someone asked for a really simple cake, like talking white fondant icing, white cake, no decoration. Those are the hardest because you've got nowhere to hide. But if you've got decoration on it, you can always pop something else on to make it look cute, and pretty much get away with it. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm adding some additional little splodges just to cover up that ink smear that I did earlier, and I've added some to the top as well just to make it look balanced. And then on top of that, I'm going to add some scrapbook paper from the Pocket Full of Sunshine box. I want it to look kind of just really, scrapbooky, collagey, so that it's balanced, but it doesn't really mean anything. That's the vibe that I'm going for with this spread. And almost like it's like been pinned to a pegboard or a clipboard. I'm just adding the eye of that monster in now while we go through. So let's grab some scrapbook paper and some washi tape. And the washi tapes that I've decided to use for this is the vertical Pocket Full of Sunshine washi, which is the one with the monsters on. And I'll also be using our Dinosaur scales washi, because I really like that the colour palette kind of goes really well with it. It's not an exact match, but I think they complement each other quite nicely, and it adds something different to the spread. So I've just torn up a bit of scrapbook paper and I'm adhering it to the page with some washi tape. I'm going to do a contrasting piece of scrapbook paper, and you'll see it's not really about creating a thing, it's just about making it look kind of balanced to the eye. And I really like the effect that this creates. It's a bit nuts, but I like it. So I'm adding that Dinosaur washi on at the bottom here, just overlapping things that you can see the grid behind it, adding different sections. The good thing with the Dinosaur washi tape is that it's different colours all through the tape, like it's a repeating pattern, but you've got like a really long strip where it's all different colours. So you can use two strips where I have done here of the same washi tape, and it looks like different washi tape because you're catching different colours in with it. So I really like this. And I think what it needs just to finish it off is to colour in that title, because it's not popping now. I did consider doing it black, but I feel like it's just going to blend in with the splodges that are on the page. So I ended up going for this koi brush pen. It's one of the matching colours to the box. I think it was number 223 and it's Bordeaux. I will link all the supplies in the description below the video if you want to see them. And I think this pops it out quite nicely, and I'm going to use this colour within that font for the headers all the way through this monthly spread so that it ties it all together. Just colouring the last of that in now. I really enjoy colouring with the koi brush pens. I think that they're a really nice pen to use. They cover ground quite nicely, but because you've got the tip, it makes it easier to kind of colour in fine details as well. that cover page was kind of extra, but I love it. I hope you like it. Cover page done. Let's go into the spread. So the next spread is going to be my monthly setup, and it's going to be my post-it note like dashboard. I did this for last month and I liked it, so it's where I can put things if I kind of need to park them. That's where I'm putting them. So I'm going to do a dashboard here for post-it notes, and then the monthly calendar I'm going to put here. So I think what I might do is like a small grid to carry that theme on. So let's grab my ruler. One up from the bottom, because it needs to be divisible by 3 because that's the spacing on my grid. So I'm just going through now and adding all of those grid lines. This would be a lot quicker if I had a ruler that was long enough to go down the whole page in one. But seeing as I'm using an A5 ruler in a B5 notebook, I have to do it in 2 parts. So I'm just joining up those lines. And then once I've got those 4 across, I'm going to go ahead and do all of the horizontal lines just across that grid, just so that I've got like 3 boxes across and then lots of boxes down. Kind of looks like a piece of pegboard on a notice board. And then I'm going to add in again kind of patterns and things to that, so that I can use it as that dashboard area in my monthly spread that's been working really well for me. I have recently bought myself a new proper basic pencil case. It's a clear pencil case so I can see what's in it. And I'm carrying it around with me everywhere that I take my journal, and it's got in it all of my kind of essential supplies. So I've got my post-it notes, my pens, my highlighters, things that I'm using for that monthly setup. So having those mini post-it notes with me in my pencil case means that if I think of something and I just kind of want to park it, I write it on a post-it note and I pop it in this dashboard area of my monthly spread. And I'm finding that that's working really well for me to kind of offload ideas and things when I have them, because often I'll be then thinking about it and not really concentrating on what I'm doing. So having somewhere that I can park ideas for me is like a really, really fun thing that is working really well. So I'm just using the inks to add in those splodges because it's a lot quicker than colouring them with pen each time. And I'm using the black distress ink along with a little brush. And I'm now layering up pieces of paper and the washi tape again to create that kind of scrapbook collage effect. And I'm really just eyeballing whether I think things look balanced or not right. The good thing with washi tape is that it is repositionable, as long as you don't kind of really like stick it down. So if I put a piece down and I don't like where it looks, how it looks, I'm just picking it up and I'm moving it around till I get the kind of effect that I do like the look of. And then I'm going to go in with this font again, which is the Sugar Donut font, which is coordinating to the Pocket Full of Sunshine box, and I'm adding in a title to the page, and I'm calling it my later base because it's basically things that I will go back to later on and kind of draw inspiration from. So exactly the same as I did on the cover page, I'm going to write out the title in black outlines using a 04 Pigma Micron fine liner. And then I'm going to go in with that koi brush pen and add colour to it. I decided I wanted to add a little arrow to this title, so I've made the arrow using part of the letter I and part of the letter V, and kind of pieced it together and then coloured it in black, so it's a block black, just so that I'm kind of demonstrating that it's for later, like arrow for later. It made sense in my head. I don't know if it really makes sense, but I like the way that it looks. It's kind of got like a computer cursor vibe to it almost. So I'm going to colour that in now, and then I'm going to use my Bordeaux coloured koi brush pen again to colour in the header. You'll see that I've got lots of different stuff on my desk. So if there's anything that you want to know what I've used, I'll try and add all of the main tools into the description below the video. But if there's anything that I'm using that you're like, what is that? Then drop me a comment below and I will always do my best to answer and point you in the right direction. If it's not from Ipsy, then I will tell you, if I can remember, where I got it from. Some of the supplies were from the stationery show that we go to, where we're lucky enough to try out some new stuff, but a lot of it is from kind of high street, so I should be able to point you in the right direction. So I'm just about finished up my dashboard area for the month, and now it's time to go ahead and set up my monthly spread. So in the world of bullet journaling, there's two main types of monthly spread. There's your kind of traditional calendar layout, and then there's the more list style monthly spread, and that's what I'm going to be using first of all. I am going to go ahead and do the calendar style layout afterwards, which I will be using for my content planner for the month. So the basis to this list style monthly spread is our vertical number washi tape, and that really just makes the whole spread come together so quickly. It's much easier than writing out your numbers, and it's been spaced perfectly by Kate, who designs our washi tape, so that the numbers line up with a 5mm dot grid. So if you have a 5mm dot grid, you're going to be able to create this spread in like seconds. So I've put in the 1 to 31 for the days of the month for July, and then I've lined up the daily letters washi tape so that it goes alongside, so you'll be able to see for each one of those days what is the date and vice versa. Now in the top right hand corner of the page, I'm going to add another one of my little grids and then some scrapbook paper. I'm just going to go ahead and draw out those lines. They are 3 dot grid spaces apart to make the same grid the whole way through this monthly spread, and breaking it down into 3 dot grid spaces widthwise as well. And once I've done that, I'll be able to then add onto the top of it some of more of those kind of organic splodgy shapes that I am creating with the pattern stencil that came within the Pocket Full of Sunshine box. I'm using, I think the colour of the ink is called Black Soot. It's a distress ink by Tim Holtz, and I'm using our mini stencil inking brush that is from Ipsy just to pop that on. I did manage to make a smudge next to it, so I go in again and add another little mark on there so that it covers it up. And then I'm going to tear off a piece of the patterned paper. I'm basically using the leftover pieces for this whole spread from the smile spread that I did with all of the pockets. It's in a different YouTube video. You'll be able to see it within the Pocket Full of Sunshine playlist. So I had lots of kind of leftover pieces, and I'm trying my best to use those productively so that they don't go to waste. And then again, I'm adding on strips of the washi tape that I've used in the other two spreads, the Dinosaur skin and the vertical Pocket Full of Sunshine monsters. Once I've got that sorted, I'm going to go ahead and add in the header for the page, again using the Sugar Donut font in a standard font size, which is available to purchase in the subscriber shop. And I'm using a black 04 pigment fine liner by Sakura. It is a Pigma Micron fine liner by Sakura or Royal Talons, which is my go-to pen of choice for setting up my journal. And I'm writing out just the words this month. I realised quite quickly that I'm not going to have enough room to fit the last letter of the word month, so I do tear off another piece of that paper just to make it slightly narrower so I can fit in the end of that word. Luckily, because this is such a kind of organic spread, it allows me to kind of tear pieces off and move things around. In that way, it's quite a stress-free theme to be doing. It's not requiring kind of accuracy, it's more feeling it as you go along. And then I'm using the Bordeaux coloured koi brush pen to colour in that header so it goes with all of the other headers of this month's setup. And again, this is from the coordinating colours that come alongside the box and were available to pre-order from the subscriber shop. The koi brush pens are probably my favourite coloured pens to use in my journal. I really like how the ink goes down really smoothly, works really nicely with the paper that we have in our journals. Yeah, I think they're quite stress-free to colour in with. So once that's done, I'm going to be dividing the monthly spread into two sides. The left-hand side will be for work-related tasks and the right-hand side will be personal events and tasks, things that are going on. And generally within this sort of monthly setup, I do in some way mark out where the week ends. If I'm using a highlighter, then I will highlight the Saturday and Sunday line. Here I'm using just the black fine liner to go along under the Sunday so you can see where full weeks lie in the month. And I'm just going to pop in work and personal at the top of those columns so that I know which is which, and write in all of the events that I know that are going on this month. I probably have to go through and add in any that I've forgotten from my phone once I'm finished filming. I do keep a iPhone calendar as well, just so that I can add things in when I'm on the go, and then I transfer them into my journal when I've got my journal in front of me. So I'm adding in the dates of our live stream days, the dates of our launches, any personal time that I've got off or events that I've got planned, just so that I can have a clear overview of what's going on in my month. And now the monthly spread is done, it's time for me to go ahead and create the Oops-a-Daisy content planner. So for this spread, I am going to use a traditional calendar layout. I will use our super easy stencil to set this up, and it really is going to be all about planning out kind of social media content. It's not to say that this overview would not be useful for someone that isn't planning social media content, and I'll explain to you how I'm going to use it once I kind of set it up so that you can get a better idea of what I'm doing. The most important thing to do is when you go in with this stencil, double check first where the days of the week lie. I can't tell you how many times I've gone in with pen, cracked on with tracing all of the boxes out, and then realizing that, you know, the last week of the month finishes on a Monday and I've done all the way across the row. So I'm just tracing those boxes out, and I'm going to do 4 days on the left hand side page and 3 days on the right hand side page, and then a panel down the right hand side of the right hand side page, which will be where I plan all of the content that's going to go into that month. So tracing those boxes one by one. This would also be really cute if you're using inks as your highlight colour in like a lighter colour, in colouring it through with ink to do the monthly spread, and then like writing on top of where you've inked. I think that would be really nice. I'd like to see someone try that out, but because I'm using quite dark inks in this, it's probably not going to work. So just tracing out those boxes. This is nearly the full July calendar. I'm then just going to move that up just to add in the Monday and Tuesday, because the month of July 2023 starts on a Saturday. And then I'm adding a line just to separate off that side panel. So that's my kind of monthly overview as it is. I'm then going to use the Pocket Full of Sunshine days and date stickers, which go alongside this box, just to add in titles across the days of the week. I'm using the more scratchy writing from Pocket Full of Sunshine as the day headers, and then I'm going to use the chunky Pocket Full of Sunshine font, which is called Sugar Donut, to add in all of the days. Now, I am a complete convert to using tweezers for sticker positioning. You see I just put the wrong ones in there. This is a running thing with me, putting the wrong days of the week into boxes. So yeah, I used to attempt to do it. I used to think that using tweezers was a bit of a kind of like Instagrammer non-reality of sticker positioning, but yeah, I'm totally sold on it. Doesn't hurt that these tweezers are purple. Any idea how long it took me to source beautifully coordinated purple, kind of cornflower blue purple tweezers? it wasn't a quick job. But I love them so much, and they came in the Pocket Full of Sunshine box, and I've been using them ever since. They're really sharp, and they also are really good for removing stickers when you've put them in the wrong position, which I do constantly, and they just make quick work of sticker positioning. So yeah, definitely sold on the tweezer front. I need to do some cool Instagram reels now that I'm a convert to the tweezer because I always feel like I used to watch those like ASMR style sticker videos and be like, who sticks stickers with tweezers? Me, apparently. I do. Yeah, hold my hands up. So that's all of the dates put in, and that is such a nice clean spread. If I just stopped there, beautiful. But of course it's me, so I'm going to go in and like whack another load of stuff all over the top of it. So first thing I'm going to do is put a header in, and then I'm going to write BO73 content planner across the top in Sugar Donut. I'm going to colour it in using that Bordeaux koi brush pen again, so it matches with everything else throughout the month. And then I'm going to go about kind of putting a key together to really represent what I'm doing this month with BO73. And what I want this calendar to show is all of like the main things. So the days of the week that we'll do YouTube video drops, the days of the week we do blog drops, our launch for the month, our mini one for the month, and our live streams for the month. So this is what's going to go into this calendar, and once I've got all of that in the key, it will then allow me to plan out the content around it, and get a bit more organized about it. I've been putting myself under a lot of pressure to create content for YouTube and blog posts and things, and because I'm doing it in a bit of a disorganized way, I think it's creating more work for me, and I just don't have the time to be doing it. So this is what this is all about. I'm going to create a plan and I'm going to stick to it. This monthly spread setup, as I said at the beginning, ended up being a bit of a beast. So because of that, I'm splitting it into 2 videos. So this first half is what you're watching today, which will be the 29th of June. And the second half of this setup will go live on Thursday the 6th. So kind of that whole working smarter, not harder thing. So the plan is, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to stick to it, every Thursday throughout July, there'll be a YouTube video premiere. And every Saturday throughout July, there'll be either a blog post or a newsletter with something informative in. I've then popped in a banana to represent our mini box because it's banana themed this month. And then the feet are representing our live streams. And then I'm just going to stick in one more sticker to represent the launch for the month. And then I'm going over to the right hand side and putting those stickers again so that I can put content against them, so I know what means what. And the whole reason for me doing this is so that I can kind of lay out where I want blog posts to drop, where I want YouTube videos to drop, and how it fits around our kind of launches and things, so that I've got a plan in advance. I did I think 9 or 10 YouTube videos in June, and we did 3 live streams. It was a lot. So I'm just trying to kind of evenly space it throughout the month, so it's not like all or nothing. So I've got the plan with me dates written down, and then I can go through and add a sticker for each of the weeks that I'm going to do a YouTube video. So the same colours, you'll see like the sticker on the Thursday the 6th is a pink sticker, and I put that on the right hand side, and carrying on so that I've got that same key. And then next to those, I'm going to pencil in what subject I want to cover for the YouTube video that week. And I am doing it in pencil so that I can change it around. But the plan is at the moment that the 6th will be another plan with me for Pocket Full of Sunshine, the second part of this video. I'm then going to have a vlog from the stationery show, a video showing a setup of my movie journal, and then the last one of the month will be my August setup. And then the same for blog posts, going through and adding stickers that I can then assign content against, so that I've got a structure for laying out what I need to create and when. And I'm really trying this week to get ahead with some of my projects so that over the next week while Tracy's on holiday, I'll be able to concentrate on packing orders and getting your orders out to you, and not stressing about not having a YouTube video or an email to go out that week. So I am trying to be more organised about my content, and I'm also trying to claw back a little bit of a work-life balance. And I think the only way for me to do that is to be organised, because I'm always going to want to create content and do all of those things. And what ends up happening is I just do it on the weekends, which is not a particularly healthy way of doing, of working. I do need to have some time off, if not only because when I have time off, that's when I end up feeling creative and coming up with new ideas. So that's my monthly overview. I'm then going to add some decoration. I'm also going to add my social media icons on the left hand side, because then I can track how having this structure helps us to grow our presence on social media. And social media isn't everything, obviously, but it is an important metric for us to keep ahead of, and know what's happening on the different channels, because then that means we can focus on the ones that make a difference for us as a business. I'm also going to record in here the number of subscribers we have for our monthly subscription, our quarterly subscription, and our VIP membership, because again, that's a good metric against, like, is what we're doing working? Are people happy with the product we're creating? So this is very much like a business themed spread, but you could definitely take it and make it work for you as a family or as an individual person. Maybe you want to put in exercise related things on here and use a key for that. Maybe you want to do for children and their after school activities. There's loads of ways that you could use like a visual layout like this and the Habits monster stickers in order to like visually see what's going on across a month. So I'm just adding in the header here, and again I am colouring in the Bordeaux colour of the Koi brush pen, and underneath that I've added the word content planner in like a block lettering so that it contrasts with the bubble writing that is Sugar Donut. Sorry, I completely forgot there what that font was called. Sugar Donut is the font that I've been using, which is the font that comes within the Pocket Full of Sunshine box, and this is the standard font stencil, which was an optional extra if you are a subscriber. I'm then going to add the header to where it says plan, so that's my key area, and then it's just about decoration, and we're very close to the end. So the same as with all the other spreads, I'm going to add a grid in. I'm going to add some more of those black splotchy things like add with ink. I'm going to add some scrapbook paper, and I'm going to add some washi tape, all the things to kind of make it tie in with the other pages. Now this spread itself looks nuts. There's so much going on. There's a lot of stickers, there's a lot of writing, but visually to me, I can see what parts of the week are where I'm busy, what I'm tracking, and also it looks pretty and it's got all of the same kind of identifying features as everything else across the month. So just a small grid on this one, and I'm going to do the stenciling of the splodges across the middle of 2 pages. So I'm just taping it down so it doesn't move too much, and using that tiny ink brush, which definitely helps not to make too much of a mess. I am a bit of an oaf, as you will have noticed, so having something that is a bit finer just helps me to make sure that I'm doing it and not creating just big black ugly splotches across my page. So once I've coloured those bits in, I'm going to add in a little bit of washi tape. I'm just clearing up where I've made a bit of a mess with my eraser, and yeah, just adding a little bit more decoration onto the page really, because I haven't got any washi tape on this page and I want it to look like it matches. So that Dinosaur washi is going in there. I'm going to add in, I try a bit of that washi there, and I don't really like overlying it, so I do end up taking up. Tweezers are great for moving washi tape as well as moving stickers, so I end up using it just at the bottom of this page, and then go in with a smaller bit at the top, and then a double layer of that Dinosaur washi, again, if you take a look, that it's the same washi tape, but where it's got different colours all the way throughout it, it allows you to layer it up and look like it's two different designs almost. And that was mammoth, but it is finally done. And it's time to take a look at the finished spread. So here it is, the final July setup. I've got my cover page. It's all based on the Pocketful of Sunshine monsters, and I've kind of done a grid as like an accent to hold it all together. It's very nuts, this spread, but I really like it actually. I kind of just let myself go a little bit wild with all of the washi tapes and the scrapbook papers and the patterns. So there's my cover page, nice and simples. And I've got my later base, which is where I've put some post-it notes just so that I've got some going, but add post-it notes for things that I need to do, but not necessarily this month. This is kind of like my ideas area. I then got my monthly overview, which is split into work and personal, and I've used our vertical washi tape to put that together. I've just put in some of the dates. Again, I've got that kind of grid with the crazy pattern and the scrapbook style on both of those. And then this one is my visual overview of what's going on this month in terms of a content plan. So what I'm aiming for this month, whether I achieve it or not, is a YouTube video premiere every Thursday, a newsletter / blog post every Saturday, and then I've got a banana for the mini one box that is banana themed. And then these little feet shapes are the live streams. So this is Kate, me, and a masterclass, and then this is our launch. So visually I can see what's happening in the month, and then down the side I've kind of penciled in my ideas for each of these, but they will potentially be changed depending on how things roll in the month. But so I've got a vague idea of what I'm doing. And then any social media can be planned around this structure. So rather than kind of dropping YouTube videos willy-nilly, my plan is to have like a Thursday is YouTube day, Saturday is blog post day, and everything else kind of fits in around that as and when. Now I am going to go on and film a second part of this video where I set up my rolling to-do list for the month and my weekly spreads. This will be going live, I think, on this day on YouTube, so make sure you hit subscribe if you would like to see how that goes. I'm planning on doing kind of a fold out insert thing, some slightly different to what I've done before. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm loving how content is coming together for our YouTube channel, so I appreciate you guys watching. If you aren't a subscriber, please subscribe. Please also hit the bell so you get notifications so that it doesn't go missing. And yeah, if you haven't got the Pocketful of Sunshine box yet, then hop over to our website. We do have a handful left, but they'll go quick. So yeah, go over and grab it while you can, and I'll catch you all very soon. Bye bye bye.